Hello, I hope all of you are doing well. My name is Shriya Bansal and I'm currently working as a software engineer at Microsoft and I'm also an educator at Relevel. So in this video, this is going to be the very last video in the series of Introduction to Operating Systems, where we talk about a few of the services that the operating system provides. Okay, so it says 5, but in total there are a total of 7 services which are provided by the operating system, which are very convenient for the users. Okay, the first is program execution. So the purpose of using computer systems is that so that the users can execute programs, right? And what is a program? Program is nothing but a set of instructions. So the overall purpose of using computer systems is always to allow the users to execute programs. So the operating system basically provides an environment where the user can conveniently run their programs. Okay. Now, running a program involves allocating and deallocating the memory and CPU scheduling also in case of multi-processing. Okay. So as a user, my job always is to have a task, to have a program, and that program should be able to run on the computer. And whenever I'm running a program, right, it is going to require some resources, right, some allocation, deallocation of memory. So operating system, right, as a program basically takes care of that. The second services that is provided by operating system is input-output operation. Every program requires an input and then it produces the output. So this involves the use of input-output. Okay, so the operating systems are providing input output, right? That makes it convenient for the user to run the programs. Okay, sometimes you've written a program which is expecting some user input, right? So for that, you need to have some method provided by or some functionality provided by the operating system using which you can take the input and using that the corresponding output can be generated. The third functionality we have is file system manipulation. Okay, so the output of a program, okay, may need to be written into a new file. Okay, or let's say we need to take some input for some files. So for that, operating system also provides this functionality where you can read from a file and you can write into a file. You can create new files for that purpose as well. So it lets you do file system manipulation. Then what we have is communication. So the processes need to communicate with each other, right, in order to exchange information during execution, right? We did talk about inter-process communication. Now it may be between a process or running on the same computer, or sometimes there is communication of processes between which are running on different computers as well. For that, the communication can happen in that situation in two ways. It can either happen through shared memory or it can happen through message passing. So for communication between processes, we have two basically methods available, which is shared memory or message passing. Again, both the functionalities are provided by the operating system. And then what we have over here is the concept of error detection. Now, what happens in the concept of error detection is that error is a part of any system, right? Whenever you are running programs, you are bound to come across errors at one point or other point. Okay, so that is why error is basically a particular part of the system that can actually malfunction the complete system as well. Sometimes the errors are so severe that they can malfunction the entire system as well. So to avoid such a situation, right, operating system constantly monitors the system, okay, for detecting the errors, okay. Operating systems are constantly running algorithms, constantly running mechanisms to make sure that they can detect the error in the early stages and do recovery from that. So this basically relieves the user, okay. So as a user, I know that my program is bound to have any errors, right? But I also know for a fact, right, that I don't have to worry about it because the operating system is taking care of the fact that even if there is some error that generate, it doesn't propagate to the entire system and cause the malfunctioning of the entire system. So we have operating system who typically takes care of that, which is error detection. Next, what we have is resource management. Okay, if you have a multitasking environment, there are resources such as main memory, CPU cycles, file storage, right, that are required by multiple processes at a time. Okay, these are some resources which are basically required by multiple processes, because we are providing a multitasking environment where multiple tasks can happen simultaneously. So for that, following are the major activities that we expect the operating system to do in terms of the resource management. And what are those resources? Main memory, CPU cycles, input output. So the operating systems manages all these kind of resources using schedulers. Okay, so a scheduler is something that takes care of the part, as in if there are multiple processes, which process should be allocated which resources, right? And how does the overall management and the scheduling takes place. So operating system has schedulers which takes care of the resources. Okay, then we also have some CPU scheduling algorithms, right, which are provided or which are introduced for the better utilization of a very important resource, which is CPU. Okay, so we have a lot of CPU scheduling algorithms, such as first come first serve, round robin, priority based, which helps for the better utilization of the resource, a very important resource, which is CPU. So operating system basically takes care of it. And the last one what we have over here is a computer system that is having multiple users and concurrent execution of multiple processes is happening, and the various processes must be protected from each other activities. So one process should not affect the activity of other process. Okay, so that is why protection basically refers to a mechanism or a way to control the access of programs, processes, right, or the users which are basically having access to those resources by the computer system. And some of the major activities that they perform is that first, the operating system ensures that the access to the all system resources is controlled, right? You have a controlled and layered access provided to all the resources. Secondly, we need to make sure that if there are external input output devices, they are protected from invalid attempts. Okay. And then we also need to provide an authentication feature for the means for like each users, and they would be only authenticating using password. So we have only relevant people accessing the resources and the data, user or system resources. Okay. So that is pretty much what the overall idea is about the services which the operating system provides at a more of a user level. Okay, considering a user, what all services are basically provided. And this concludes our discussion for the operating system series as well. Okay, so I hope this was clear to everyone. It was a very beginners friendly series. We started from the very scratch and understood what all are the basic concepts related to an operating system. Why do we really need an operating system? What are its services that are being provided, right? And related to that, what are the management tasks it takes care of? And along with that, we also talked about what are the services that it basically provides. Okay, I hope with that everyone is clear with this overall idea and you understand the overall concept behind this as well, right? And I was helpful in making this concept a little bit easier for you in terms of learning and understanding. So thank you so much for taking a look, and we will start with all the management tasks that we discussed in the next modules. Looking forward to it. Thank you.